Hi, welcome to Real Talk on Relationships for June 11th, 2017. This is where I help you to be and attract an emotionally healthy, evolved partner and to help create a life you love and are passionate about. I'm Riana Milne. I'm a certified life, love, and relationship coach. And recently, I just got my CCTP, which is a certified clinical trauma professional. So it's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but it's a very long course, and I just received that a couple of days ago. So I'm also a licensed mental health counselor, a certified addictions professional, and just got done being part of the team for a TV docu-series called Radical Dating, Finding Lasting Love Over 40, and that will be coming out in September. The station is still to be announced, but we're very excited about that. I do coach worldwide, where I help singles to find amazing love and for couples to fix the love that they have with two different programs, and they're both life and love transformation type programs. So tonight, I always go into a life or love topic, and usually it's with something that my clients are struggling with or in the midst of, so I kind of like talk about that to bring more light to the subject. So this one tonight is how the practice and purpose and importance of forgiveness. And I love this quote that I found by Mahatma Gandhi: "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong." And I tell my people that all the time. To forgive is a real sign of strength and character and maturity. And it's also a very highly spiritual concept. And all my clients live a conscious way of living and being. And the concept of forgiveness is a very important part of their daily practice. So you do want to practice this on a regular basis. And it's just part of living in the light that we talk about, where happiness and peace, love, tranquility come from. And a lot of people just say the words, "I'm sorry," and you can tell really in their heart that they don't really forgive. So it's really important that you forgive from the heart, that you really feel forgiveness when you say, "I'm sorry," or ask for forgiveness. And if you don't really apologize or forgive from the heart, some things are going to tend to happen. Now, if you're someone with childhood trauma, the things I'm going to go over will be tenfold. If you're in a relationship situation, let's say as a single or a couple, these things will be showing as well. So addictive behaviors, people that are stuck in anger and won't forgive from the heart, tend to be getting involved with alcohol, drugs, overspending money, gambling, gaming, overeating. They're not happy inside. They're trying to hold this stance of like, well, I'm right, they're wrong. And it's really just eating them up inside. So forgiveness is a good part of your own health and healing from any wounds, So it's really important. A lot of people with trauma hold the trauma for many, many years and either never forgive, or don't talk about it, and find no source of relief. And trauma inside the body is very, very damaging emotionally and physically. So it's really important that you learn to forgive and, get that toxic trauma out of you and just let it go. Acting out behaviors can happen. People become very reckless. They use sex or porn to self-soothe or to feel desired or get the attention that they miss from their partner. They're very much prone to long-term depression, definitely ongoing anxiety, and a lot of anger or fast trauma triggers of anger that we call it. Lack of focus at work because they're so hung up on the argument or that they won't forgive or the anger at their partner. Lethargic energy, just feeling tired, burnout all the time, which is going to, of course, hurt your career and other relationships that you're in. And then there's a lot of jealousy and control issues, too, that can come up in the relationship. If you can't forgive past relationships, past people, past hurt and pains, and you're dragging all this baggage along with you into new relationships, you don't want to do that. Hey, AM, my good friend is on there tonight. Thanks for stopping in. So people who are stuck in relationships, in between relationships, like they're deciding, do I want this partner, do I not want this partner? I have several clients in that state of being right now, and they are dating their ex. So they're friends. And I said, that's okay if there's some ground rules that you tend to stay by. First of all, when you love someone, you fall in love, you really love them unconditionally. So that's even when the relationship comes to an end, or you're considering whether it's going to come to an end. So if it comes to an end abruptly, you want to make sure you find a way to talk things out and end it with good blessings and fond memories. Apologize for what you've done, let them apologize for what they've done, and you can really feel in your heart the appreciation for the wonderful memories that you did have. I always say in my books, Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. When you know that you're really done with a relationship, 3 things you should say: goodbye, good luck, and God bless. It's a really good way to release somebody in love, is what we call it. And that, again, is living from the light. So you want to be kind in the breakup, be a friend in the breakup. And I always say, leave an open door to friendship, or maybe dating down the road, or even, when you pass them on the street, you can give them a hug and say hello. There should be no ill feelings or pains between you. Ask for forgiveness for anything you might have done to hurt them. And even though it might have been unintentional, it still occurred. So you both should be willing to forgive and apologize at the same time. So you leave in a very cleansing way. Stop all the blame. The blame is to be done, especially if you're separated and looking to rekindle the relationship. Blame is done. Leave with a hug and a thank you and in friendship. And the door is always open. And I go to say this with all my people that are dating too. Like, you might not think somebody's quite right for you, and then you run into them and maybe something's changed. And they are quite nice. So I always say date and leave the door open. Just say, you have a lot of beautiful qualities, name a couple of those, but you could say, I don't think we're quite a match. Or, I have met someone else and I'm starting to date. But you never want to just drop anyone or say goodbye on a text. Nothing rude. You always want to be polite and come from the light in a dating relationship and in a coupled relationship. Unfortunately, there's a lot of pain with divorce. Usually mediation is the kinder avenue to go if you decide to leave. But again, there's memories there. So be fond of the memories. Thank your partner for the memories. Say what was wonderful and beautiful about their personality and who they were to you. If you do decide to stay, then you have to both be open and honest about your wants, needs, and desires at this point. Of course, you definitely have to forgive each other with a big open heart, and you have to leave the past in the past. It can never be brought up again. Never bring up the old issues ever. Because if that happens, you're going to be stuck. The relationship can never be moved forward. If you don't have the ability to have a relationship at this time, several things could have come up. Maybe new work demands, that you have to travel, financial concerns, a mother might be sick in another town and you have to go away for a while. Just ask to keep the door open and maybe revisit the relationship down the road. But once these things are settled, keep your word. Maybe the door is open, and if there's any promises that were made while you were in the relationship, or you made it towards the end of the relationship, keep those promises to your partner before you enter into a separation. If you do intend to date, you should tell your partner. Don't do it in secret. If you're still separated but dating, like I said, I have a couple people in that situation right now, and there'll be a time where with my clients I said, maybe it's time for you to start dating. If nothing is changing, you guys aren't talking about what you want changed or new, you can't get back together with no new rules. It's really important, because if you broke up for a reason, there was a fight or an argument or the erosion of a relationship for a reason. So new rules and behaviors have to be discussed, new goals. So now's the time to be totally honest. Talk about your feelings openly. And, if you're afraid you're going to be interrupted during that conversation, then suggest you both write down what your needs are and what you need changed. And then get together and read your notes. I usually say take a turn, he reads, she reads, back and forth, about what you need. And listen why they say their comment. And you can say, is there anything more to that? And so it's very clearly understood by you. And then you say yes or no, can you live with that new rule or that new boundary? And this is how you renegotiate back into a relationship. You say what you're going to do, what you want to stick with. And they have to be re-evaluated sometimes. You know, you have to ask, you know, did you stick with what you promised me? You know, we broke up the first time for a reason. Now we're trying it again, you know, but this is still existing. This is still occurring. This is not good. So again, keep the notes handy, revisit it. I have a couple that I know that checks in every Sunday. How are we doing? What do we need to do differently? Are you happy? Am I happy? Did we have a good week? What do we want to do different? So that's a great little ritual to have. They do it with a glass of wine after dinner on a Sunday night, and it's kind of cool. And they say the list of complaints or requests are getting less and less, and they're like, nope, we're good, you know. So, I mean, that's a really great ritual. I love that idea. So listen to, as you discuss, make sure you're listening to your partner and not coming up with a retaliation. Their feelings are legitimate. You may not agree, and you can say it's okay for us to disagree on this one. But if it's a real need or requirement, and in coaching we say a requirement is a black or white issue. If you don't have it, you're going to be very upset. So, I mean, you have to say this is a requirement of mine. Like if you have a requirement to have your partner drug-free, you want your partner drug-free. There's no discussion about that. You know, if you're not a non-smoker and they're smoking cigarettes and that's bothering you, that's a requirement. You're not going to be happy with it. So, I mean, stick to your requirements. You can't really negotiate on those, but you should have found that out early on in the relationship. Okay. So take turns in reading through your lists. You definitely need to learn trauma and conflict reducing techniques. So talk openly about your triggers from the past, any traumas you might have endured, and restate your boundaries. Now, most of all the people I work with have trauma in their past. Why? Because the studies that are mostly done in America show 90% of our population has some childhood trauma. Okay, but most people don't understand what trauma is, what it means, or what the 10 traumas are. Now, I have a lot of tapes on YouTube that talk about this, so if you haven't heard about it yet, you should definitely go on and listen to it. You can always call and talk to me about that during a free strategy session. But it's really important that you understand your childhood traumas and how they are playing out in triggers in your relationship. And if you have not done trauma work yet, it's really important to do that so that you have a very happy, secure, and conscious relationship that's fulfilling for you. So, you know, if your partner does not change on your requirements or your needs, even though you've renegotiated, that is very rare for this type of relationship to work out. So, I mean, you definitely have to do the new rules and boundaries if you're going to get back together. So if you're in a separated situation, this is the time to really do you. You know, look at yourself. Do you want to lose a few pounds? I have something in my book called the God Diet. Boy, does it work. You know, when I'm focused, it's like, all right, I got to lose some weight. I lost like 11 pounds since Mother's Day. So, you know, and it's a very healthy diet. It's very protein, a lot of vegetables. I'm not hungry. It works, trust me. So my clients go on the God Diet when they want to leave. Basically, it's eat what God provides. So that means nothing from a package, okay? So it's really quite simple once you get the knack of it, but it's a lot of proteins and no junk. But your body stops craving the junk and the sugar. It's a great way to go. Definitely want to read for improvement, take a course or two, see your friends and catch up, go out, you know, travel to visit them, let them come and visit you for a few days. Do the work that you let go for a while. I know when people are in relationships, they get behind. So take on a new project, clean up an old one, clean up your desk. It's really important to cleanse your home, your garage, your car, feng shui, everything, because it just feels open and more relaxing to the soul when you feel like your life is in order and things are cleansed. Definitely clean out your closets like twice a year. Make sure you're not holding into anything new that you don't feel fantastic in. Travel by yourself or with a friend or go see family. Definitely challenge yourself to new personal growth. So that might be taking like a new yoga class or kickboxing or something else, which is pretty cool. And learn to be alone and like it, you know. So it's not always easy, especially coming out of a relationship. There's loneliness and it's like, what do I do? So those are just some ideas of what you can do. Focus on your own self-improvement, growth, and enhancement. and catch up with friends and get out and meet some new ones. So there's a group that I think is national and even international. It's called meetup.com that you could maybe go on and meet some new friends in special interest groups like biking, kayaking, singles groups, meditation groups, that kind of thing. So you might want to try that. And so, indeed, true forgiveness can leave the door open to a future relationship, or especially just a friendship, or even dating together if what they needed to put the relationship on hold for. A lot of times, I have a situation in my agency now that, the girl really liked this guy, and they were hoping for marriage, but he was very much behind in his career and felt he couldn't really support her or her family just yet. So they agreed to keep the door open, under my instructions, and he wants to work hard to bring his, career up to par. So they had a discussion to agree, decided why don't we just date, because to keep the friendship, check in from time to time, say hello. And he said when he's ready, I'll step up and let her know. So that's called keeping the door open, and people, that can really work very well. Hey, Chrissy, good to see you, girl. One of my Jersey girls. Another one. I love her. Love you, Christy. Love you. Okay, so that's really good too. So, if you ever run into your ex, you always want to be able to just go up and give them a hug, hello, out of friendship, wish them a happy birthday. You should never feel embarrassed, if you're with a new partner, because if you leave with this kindness and friendship and forgiveness factor, it's always easy to run into your ex, and the friendship can remain. So keep your promises to your partner, like I said, during the relationship or during the separation time period, because that's a big test too. If there's promises made and the promises are not kept or broken, that doesn't say much for the power of the separation, right? The separation, people are supposed to still be held in integrity. If you're not dating, but just doing your own things to get your life together, so that you could be together in the future. So promises are really important. So forgiveness in general just sets your heart free. It allows you to be open to love again without any anger, resentment, past baggage from this recent past relationship. Remember, you started as friends. There's a lot of great times and wonderful memories, so make sure you end as friends. Never end on anger. If it ended in an angry note, get together, chat, settle it. Leave it in love, say hug goodbye, and it really makes the soul feel good. And when you look at your pictures, you're going to always remember the fond memories. Do tell them the wonderful traits that they had, all those great qualities that you thought were very important, and say it from the heart. Never do any ill harm or retaliation against your partner. This all comes from very deep-seated trauma or triggers. If you're lashing out or doing anything jealous, controlling, negative, that's all childhood trauma, and you really need some help in settling that trauma if that's what you're looking to do. And when you have children, you really do need to forgive, because there's going to be a lot of family events where you're going to see your ex. Doesn't mean you have to be lovey-dovey if it ended on a bad note, but just be socially polite. That's all I say. Be socially polite, be able to say hello, goodbye, a few words of conversation. Hug your ex at the weddings when they get married, those kinds of things, of course. You're celebrating the children's wins and accomplishments, and that should make you feel good as parents. So if that, stay together and celebrate as parents. We're all human. Remember, we all make mistakes. We're not here to be perfect. We're all here to learn. And again, 90% of us humans in America have some kind of childhood trauma. So there's going to be mistakes made. The worst thing is to come into a relationship with such high expectations that there's no room for mistakes. You realize that mistakes will be made. Getting help in trauma education, reduction, relaxation of the body when you're feeling tense, and being spiritually healthy in your lifestyle will help the trauma response of a breakup to be minimal. Forgiveness, really true forgiveness from the heart, mind, and soul is the key to a quick recovery time and the ability to move on, and the possibility for that relationship or friendship in the future. And again, while dating, if the date is not right for you, end it in a very polite and friendly way. Everyone has a type, so even if you like them and they didn't like you after the first night, don't take this as a rejection, because there's going to be people you're going to say, well, very nice, but not my type too. So remember, the dating game is people trying to figure out if you're each other's type. So just be friendly, wish them well on their journey to find love, and don't just drop them. Don't not call or drop them by text. That's just not polite. You know, if you're on a dating site, write them through the dating site or an email, something like that, and thank them for the date and wish them well. But the most important thing is, before starting to date, give yourself the best chance of finding a new emotionally healthy partner, because you need to be your very best in all life areas. Usually after a relationship, I always say, take this personal time for you, for your own growth, your dreams. You know, what is your next journey? I know during my breakups, I wrote 2 books. I moved to Florida and started a practice down here with 0 clients. So my times of breakup have been of extreme growth for my business and my accomplishments and reaching my dreams and goals. So don't rush right out and say dating. Like, learn to be by yourself, learn to do you. You know, this, and if you need help, for sure, you know, my proven system of my Life and Love Transformation program of coaching really, really helps those in transitions. That was what it was built for. Because I did the research when I was in a difficult transition. That's where both Live and Love books come from. They're written from my heart. So, you know, I'm there to help you, you know, and then you will become very confident and consciously aware of exactly what to do when you go back out there to date, and even more importantly, what not to do, what to look for, what questions to ask. You want to do all the right things step by step to attract an emotionally healthy love into your life. And, you know, all my clients have learned to live consciously, and that's really an important aspect of life. You know, they learn to forgive, they learn to apologize quickly, they always are looking, is this choice or decision I'm making for the good of all? Is it kind? Is it from the light side of life, not the dark side? And when you live that way, there's very little depression or anxiety, even in a difficult transition, even during a breakup. You know, so if you need some help, some confidence to get beyond your anger, the trauma, some people who came from childhood trauma and then have abandonment issues, they're very, very love addicted to their partner. It's very difficult for them to move on from a relationship. They're very strongly attached. They could be codependent. And these are the types that will usually go and act out, seeking another person right away to date. Or, you know, drink or get high to escape. They're lonely, they're partying, they just kind of go crazy after a breakup. So, and again, it's all those triggers from childhood coming up, and they're not aware of them, and that's the ones that have the most difficulty during a breakup time. So hold your healthy boundaries. If you're dating out there and new, you know, give people forgiveness and slack. But hold your boundaries, of course, but don't have too high of an expectation of somebody you're meeting that's new. Have an open heart and an open mind. Give them a chance. And this is what it means to practice forgiveness. So practicing forgiveness means say your apologies quickly, and when you say, I'm sorry, say for what? I remember teaching in the violin school as a student assistance counselor. I would work with all the quote-unquote difficult kids, and they were my kids. I loved them all. So, you know, they have a lot of fights, obviously. And I taught them how to apologize properly. You just don't say sorry, you know, which a little kid would do, or even I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry I did this because I know it hurt you because of that. You know, so a very clear statement of apology is what it means to practice to apologize. And then forgiveness is saying, I forgive you, we all make mistakes, and really meaning it from your heart. And that's when your mind and heart goes into the good parts of that person and realize we all, most, come from trauma, and we all, every human, make mistakes, and it's a learning curve. So for couples, you must forgive your partner's past mistakes. You can never, ever move on in the relationship. Why hold a grudge? Life is short. You know, what can you do about the past? It cannot be changed. And when you have this anger, this resentment, this coldness because of a past situation, you and your partner are going to be miserable, and the marriage will not work. It will not last. So the past is over. You just got to get beyond it, and definitely reach out for help from a relationship coach if you are stuck and you can't get beyond, and, you know, the apology. So you really want to forgive all past bullshit, because otherwise your present and your future is doomed. Your relationship is doomed. So remember all the times you've made mistakes and you wanted your partner to forgive you. Well, same thing. Make sure you do forgive your partner too. Forgiveness is a sign of strength and maturity. If you break up, remember to celebrate again those many great memories. Thank your partner for all the wonderful times you have and who they were to you and what they brought into your life. Forgiveness and that spiritual openness of your heart helps you to love again. Whether it's your partner and you decide to go back with new rules and boundaries, or you move on to date again. But then you're doing it without any old anger, stress, complications, or baggage. And as a couple, if you decide to try once more, again, it must be with these new rules and an open discussion with a relationship coach to make sure those boundaries and rules are mutually agreed upon and good for the team. And I always say, write them down, because this is your new rule book, okay? So, it's time to make a new rule. I mean, the beginning of the relationship was that hard rock passion, and then you became, and you became friends, and then there was complications. So, complications are a part of life. So now what do you do with that? And you've got to make the new rules and boundaries. So many couples do really terrific in my relationship rescue program. So I always say, do that before divorce. Don't give up on each other. Try that first. And I'm really proud of my couples. They've come so far, and they're so quick and easy to forgive and apologize by saying exactly what happened and then ask for forgiveness. And they do really both drop the past. They have really learned to live in the present and move forward, and they're having such a good time. So nothing destroys a relationship more than rumination. Rumination is a trait of the adult child of an alcoholic or someone of trauma. This is when one of the partners, usually one of them does it more than the other, but they keep going over and over and over, and it's like that, like this old tape that never stops talking and keeps complaining and whining or bitching or has anger about a situation. And a lot of times, like the partner didn't even do anything. It was just in a situation that they weren't happy about. And you're the brunt of the anger and the rumination. It's really horrible. So that's something that is, again, it's a stuck tape from childhood unconscious trauma. It's coming on from a trigger, and that's something that you definitely want to stop. You need a coach to help you stop that. Again, someone that specializes in trauma is best. So get through the past, stop the blaming, learn to apologize and forgive, let it go. Life, like I said, you'll live so much happier and in peace. And do get a trauma specialist. All these childhood traumas do come out in your adult life and love relationships, but especially in love relationships. Very often the ACOA is very successful at work, because that ego gratification at work helps give you the compliments that you might not have gotten as a child. Or if you had critical parents, you grew up and became very successful in life because you said, like me, watch me, I'll show you what I can do. That's the watch me attitude I write about, because I was not one to get a lot of compliments when I was a young girl. So I have a very strong work ethic. And yes, I find a lot of accolades in my work of helping others. But my true joy, of course, is seeing the transformation and change of my clients. It's the most rewarding work. I'm so grateful for my clients and their willingness to share their life with me. So thank you guys out there. So again, as a CCTP now, as Certified Clinical Trauma Professional, I am here to help you. If you are new and would like to have a free Life and Love Transformation Strategy session with me, it's a $500 value. I give you a full hour of my time. All you have to do is go to my website, rianamilne.com. Just fill out the form, tell me what's going on in your life, leave me your Skype address and your cell phone number. I will call you to set up your appointment. It comes to my email, so don't even worry about selecting a time because my schedule changes so quickly, but I'll get you in as fast as I can and see how I can help you. And do remember, I have a free app. It's called My Relationship Coach. It's free for all phones. Just download it. You'll get all the videos, and there's tons of articles on there. And do check out my YouTube page, Riana Milne. If you do see a video, please like it and please subscribe so you don't miss any. And then if there's a topic where a friend needs help, most importantly, do share the love and get them a copy of that tape. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful night and an incredible, fantastic, loving week. Bye-bye.